on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield, live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards, and by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here are your hosts, Teddy Lehman, and the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. It's time for Sooner Sports Talk. We'll be joined very shortly by the head coach of the Sooners, Brent Venables. Oklahoma trying to bounce back this week after a 34-3 loss to Texas down in Dallas. Back home after 3 weeks away. They'll be hosting the South Carolina Gamecocks at 11:45 on Owen Field. First ever meeting between the Sooners and the Gamecocks in football. They're one of only two programs OU has never played in the SEC. The other one is Mississippi State. So that'll be fun coming up, and it's a whiteout. If you haven't heard yet, everybody please make sure you wear white, Teddy, on Saturday. There he is. Please welcome everybody, the head coach himself, Brent Venables, in the house. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Oh, yeah, the guy on the end's the best color analyst in college football, Teddy Lehman. Make him welcome as well. Opening segment presented by Noble McIntyre, McIntyre Law, the law firm you should turn to for all your personal injury needs. How are you tonight, sir?
Well, I'm doing well.
Good to see you.
Yeah, always good.
Let's talk first about Texas, 34-3, the final. Not what anybody wanted, but optimistic start with the way that game began.
Yeah, I think it's important that, 34-3 is 34-3, no matter how you look at it. But you also got to have perspective and how did it get to that? And that's how I've looked at every game I've ever coached in. And for us, man, you got to have awareness. And I think that's where it all starts. And our guys came out and really again, on defense, we started off, got an interception. I think four of the first 5 drives were either a 3-and-out or a forced turnover. And so really started off well. And I think our first 3 drives on offense were at the minus 49, plus 47, and maybe the plus 37 or minus 37. But it had 3, really excellent field positions early in the game, and we got 3 points out of it. Missed a field goal there on our first turnover, and then end up punting and then making our other field goal. Had an 11-play drive there and got a field goal out of it. So, for at the end of the first quarter, they hadn't given up a point in the first quarter. Should have been 6-0 worst case scenario, and then they hadn't been behind, in any game, and so they were, and then again, we had, there's some good and some bad, like all games are going to be, and it's 7-3 all the way till just a little over 2 minutes to go in the first half, and you feel decent going into halftime at 7-3, and knowing that you could have had more, you make your field goal 7-6 at halftime, and then it was just a calamity of just different things that happened there where they get up 21-3 on us, and obviously nothing impacts a game like turnovers, and they scored on one of those turnovers in the back-to-back possessions, and I even go back to their first touchdown drive. We're up 3-0, and what happens there? And they move the ball down the field. They're going to make some plays. They're a good offense, but once we got into plus territory, what could I always look at, well, what was them and what was us? And is it basic, or do they make a really good play? And again, that's, I don't want to get into all the weeds, but we had a couple of plays once they got down inside the 20 where we got to hold them to a field goal, block a kick, force a turnover there. And our flat defender on one play is supposed to line up outside of 2 in the boundary, and we line up inside of 2 on the line of scrimmage, and so space is your enemy as a tackler, and they dump it out. We have really good coverage. We got pressure, and they get to dump it to the flat where our flat defender should already be, and we're probably 6-7 yards away from where we needed to be. We missed the tackle. They chew up a little bit of positive yards, get a little momentum, then we come back and they hand it off. We got an edge pressure that's blitzing right into the run, and we're a little bit out of control, and we got to have what we call a controlled blitz, that you got to play a surf technique and just be under control, and should be a tackle for loss. And instead they get 1 or 2, but when you're fighting for every patch of grass, and every patch of grass matters in a game like that, the difference between a touchdown and hold them to a field goal. And so we miss it, but we tackle them for a couple of yards, and then the next play, 2nd and long, they're going to try to be very safe in that situation, and because they have points, and they're just trying not to screw it up and try to get to a manageable 3rd down. And so they do one of those little swing motions, and we're supposed to go jump it right now, and we wait. Our outside linebacker waits and just make sure that they're throwing it instead of relating. And again, they throw the ball in space. Eli Bowen sets the edge, and then he comes in and tries to make the tackle. We've already should have had the tackle made, and then we miss the tackle because of the space. We kind of knock into each other. And now they got a pretty manageable 3rd down. They run a little sprint out, they throw back, and we missed the tackle there. And so they score the 1 touchdown and go up 7-3, but man, that is a touchdown that should never happen. It shouldn't have gotten to that. They should be throwing on 3rd and long or extra long, and we've been pretty dang good in that situation in the red zone. And again, we don't, the margin for error is already, this is the toughest conference, on the planet, and then you're playing, against a really good team, and you have these small window of opportunities. You don't have endless opportunities to make layups. And we did, and we didn't make the layups. And so tackling with, some guys that have been good tacklers wasn't what it needed to be at the right time. And so we allow them to get in a position to throw that little throwback play. And so that was one of the touchdowns. And so I was kind of hard on the defense afterwards. I'm like, I'm not changing what the standard has been and what this is. I'm not hoping and wishing that they're capable of playing up here. I'm just talking about doing the basic things, really well, consistently, and that's what a really good unit's going to do. And then we get another opportunity on defense before their 2nd touchdown. We give them to 3rd and 6. They're backed up on their own in the field, and it's 3rd and 6. Man, we're in a man call. We got to tighten down in alignment, not giving them a free release. They hit a runner, or we don't, where they hit a runner, and we tackle them. And then on the very next play, we got a call. They're going to run a simple swap stretch play, and our C-gap defender doesn't punch his gap in the C-gap. The ball starts towards them, and the ball stops in here, and we got bad eyes, and the C-gap is wide open. And if we go punch our gap, the ball goes nowhere. And we've been good at that. I'm not asking for somebody to go make an amazing play. Do your job. Every time, every snap, and every play, every series, every quarter. Just do that. And the ball stops, and it looks like it might bounce back, and the edge defender doesn't punch the C. And what happens? So we kind of get our eyes inside where the ball look like it's going to get, knocked back, and then the ball circles the defense. The stack safety from depth misses the tackle, which can't happen either. And, it's off to the races. And so our backside safety, and your backside pursuit and your pursuit overall should always cover up for a mistake and save you. And Robert Spears does a great job, and we watched a couple of weeks ago. We talk about this a lot, but maybe 10 days ago, we watch Coach Alley had pulled up to start the back 7 meeting. We meet as a back 7, and we watch 6 or 7 NFL clips of plays that look like they're going to score touchdowns. So with inside the 10-yard line, the NFL players on defense punching and hawking the ball out, and how it changes everything. And so Robert does it textbook. He pops the ball out, and we've got 4 Oklahoma defenders that are behind him. And one of them's Woody Washington, and he's busting, and he dives, and he leaves his feet right there at the ball carrier, and Robert punches it out. So Woody's on the ground, and then there's a receiver back here. that ends up getting the recovery for a touchdown. And the other 3 guys, when it looks like he's going down, they just kind of don't completely stop, but they slow down. Looks like the play's over. When the play's not over. And so I look for everything. You know, how did that happen? Okay, and then what did we do, and what were we capable of doing, and how can we teach and learn? This is the greatest opportunity to teach all year, right now. Right now, this is the greatest. Success teaches you nothing, and I don't want to just say, oh, okay, it's 34-3. 34-3 ain't good. Okay, what happened, and when did it happen? How did it happen, and what could we have done better? And so, you know, the receiver back here, he's running full speed the whole time, and he passes up these other 3 defenders that kind of slowed down, and he's the guy and the ball rolled to his side, and they recovered it for a touchdown. That could have been, you know, that end of the stadium goes completely dead. This end of the stadium charged up, and we just take the life out of them, you know, and we give it to us, and that's a real thing, man. And so the guys that we're chasing, you know, those are reliable, dependable guys, but they weren't in that moment, and so that was really disappointing. That's how it got to 14-3. And then we go right out and we run it for, you know, now we're in a 2-minute drill. And we run it for 8 and we come right back. We run it for 10, and it's always the guy that you don't see, and he pops it loose on another really good run, kind of get the 2-minute drill started. And then, you know, coaches, we didn't have the defensive guys ready, you know, for sudden change. And we get a guy running out there late, and he gets lined up, and but then they go, you know, 1 play touchdown. Just, you know, we're soft, and again, our support players didn't support again, and we make it way too easy, and we're better than that. And that's how they get it to 21-3. We go out the next drive, and we fumble the ball again after another nice, I think it was a 15-yard run, and the guy just pops it loose there at the end, and then they miss a field goal before half, and again, it's 21-3. It's not you know, 41-3. It's 21-3. It was just 7-3, you know, seconds ago, and so again, hey man, listen, let's get the ball back coming out of halftime, and we're going to go down and score a touchdown and put this to 21-10. We're going to play great on defense and so forth and so on, and you know, we couldn't get anything, you know, sustained. And again, we flip side in the first half on offense. There were some things that were really good. Like we had different ways we were attacking, different entry angles, different spots, outside, inside, that we're attacking in the run game. You know, we've got to, again, just what was good, what wasn't. We had guys open at times. We hit them. Had some good things, but we didn't stay in rhythm. And maybe that's depth of a route. Maybe that's a decision by quarterback. We did have some move in the pocket. We have some decisions that we got to make, and we got to make the right decision every single time. And then the not complicated decisions. And when you don't, you know, you get punished. And we had some really well-designed runs that we got to give them the ball. And then again, we've got to, if we're supposed to run a route at 10-12, it can't be 16. You know, you got to take what you did in practice, and you got to take it to game day. And the coach can't do that for you. You got to have the discipline to do that. So the quarterback's counting on one thing, we do another. And these aren't excuses. I mean, you can, if you're looking for them, you got endless amount of excuses, but you don't have endless amount of opportunities, and we miss some real opportunities, and that's it's a very frustrating thing. And then when we got guys open, we got to throw the ball, whether they're wide open or we're in some tight windows. That's the name of the game. You're playing good people, and if you want to play beyond Oklahoma, man, it gets tighter. You know, the window's tighter. Everything's more physical. Everything's more competitive, and you know, I really thought we had guys, you know, for a good part of the day, had it up the right places, and in the run game, and protection was pretty solid. And there's some times too we move the pocket. Another time that's a drive starter that we got to seal the DN. We can't give up too much penetration there on the edge, and you know, we got a guy it's a little longer route that's open, wide open, but because we don't set that edge, you know, fast enough, you know, the quarterback's hurried and he's got to throw the ball away. You can't take sacks. We did that, you know, one time early that you can't do, and then again you can't get antsy in the pocket. Mike can't get antsy when the protection's there. Man, you got to have some patience in that pocket. And sometimes that's just, again, a young quarterback. Sometimes he plays a lot faster. And for the first, 15, 20 plays, there's some plays that we did a good job with, but overall we're playing too fast. You have to have the play within the rhythm of the play. And again, you just, you left some opportunities out there in that first half. And like I said, all that being said, you still feel strong if you come in there at 7-3 at halftime. And we weren't. We made those plays. They made those plays, and we didn't. And that's the name of the game. You get punished when you don't capitalize on opportunities that are there, that are us. And and again, the margin for error we know is small for lots of different reasons, let alone the people that you're playing.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Teddy's got some questions for you. We're also going to look ahead to the showdown with South Carolina coming up this Saturday. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk here at Rudy's. Stay with us.
Is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bob Moore Ford is proud to honor service members through the Patriot of the Game. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Junior Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Orthodontics Exclusively, Mathis Home, and Devon Energy.
Welcome back to Rudy's, everybody. Second segment brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Teddy, you got a question for Coach?
Yeah, you mentioned, you guys did some different things on offense, and then obviously the game there's some separation there and kind of had to get one-dimensional to a degree, but have you seen some things where you feel the offense can build on?
Yeah, absolutely. The offensive line, again, there's nothing to celebrate, but they're making some incremental improvement with their cohesion, with their communication. Again, they opened up several holes, and again, we got to make some decisions better. We had some simple things that there was hey, do this or do that when it comes to the quarterback, and we got to make some better decisions there because we had some real opportunities. Forced by the offense, the things that they did. And from a protection standpoint, we weren't just turning guys loose and the identification in the run game, move on the move. This is, again, a big, long, athletic, aggressive front that, sometimes the picture changes post-snap. And I thought they did a nice job, overall under the circumstances. And if we take the plays that are there, it's a more balance for the offense and create some other opportunities, in throwing the football as well.
Where do you feel like you are at quarterback right now? Is Mike still the guy for you?
I mean, yeah, you want to give guys a real opportunity to show what they can do and have a body of work, not be so quick to judge. And let's see if we can make improvement on the things that are in our world super easy. These are so we got to do a great job, and we did that today of identifying what those things are. And this isn't an either or, this is an easy one, and it's how many ever that it is. And if we do that, if we feel like that'll give us the rhythm that we, ultimately need. And again, Jackson had a fantastic week of practice a week ago, and just didn't feel that, that's what we needed to do, under the circumstances. Mike has shown a lot of really good stuff, both, in limited time against Tennessee, and he had some really good moments that he did some good stuff against Auburn, and even in this game, he did some good things and said some things. Now you see if we can learn from it in going into South Carolina game. And the second half, we start things off again, a couple of really good positive runs, and then we run an option play that on second down where we end up losing yardage, and it's just something simple. We got to press the defensive end. If you stay too deep, the defensive end can play the quarterback, and then he can turn and run to the pitch. You got to press him and attack him. Something that's so small, you got to do that over and over and over and over. You got to take those fundamentals to the game, and then you force. Now you get a one-on-one. You're kicking out the pitch player, and then you got a runner in the alley, and those are the things right now that are kind of holding us back. And at the end of the day, too, field position's a critical thing. Texas average starting field position in the second half was the 48-yard line, and then for us, we're at our own 18. And that's something, when you're down, that's a hard thing to overcome. And even the defense, the first drive of the second half, they get a turnover on downs, but it also was 12 plays where we allowed them to flip the field, and now the offense takes the ball. It's good we didn't give up any points, but now the offense is backed up, at their own end, and it just makes things a little bit harder. And we gave up late in the midway to late in the fourth quarter, we give up a 55-yard return and have a block in the back that they missed. It's clean, it's egregious, and but that's just the game. You create your own luck too, and we got to be better there. But he hits a runner, and he's one of the best return guys in college football. He transferred from Oregon State and did a nice job. We got him down. They get 10 points late. The trick play that they had, the ball's up in the air forever, and our safety goes up, their tight end comes down with it. We probably worked that over the week and a half that we had to get ready, probably 8 times. And that exact play, same hash, exactly. We were in the call we should go pick that off, every time, or at least bat it down. But it was kind of that was we're on the wrong side of it, and no excuse. It was just bad. And so they got 10 points there late. I think they scored 3 points in the third quarter, and we didn't force. We couldn't ever put any pressure on them, and that's unfortunate. So I felt like we pressed a little bit on defense in that second half. We only defended. They only had 4 possessions in the second half on defense, and one of them we forced a turnover on downs, and then they had a field goal. A field goal off of a short field, and then a touchdown and another field goal off of short fields as well. One was because of the long return.
It's been tough to push the ball down the field on offense.
And that's a good point. The first drive of the game, we got a guy wide open. We throw the ball on the first drive, and we don't connect. But we push it down right out the gate. And then some other times we have lots of space. We felt they would give us some space, and we had some other opportunities that weren't going to be necessarily behind them, but they're deeper balls that were. Now all of a sudden you convert on a couple of those, and they tighten up the coverage, and you can run by them like we did on the first drive. We're 2 yards behind guy on the first down, on the first drive rather. And we're in the end zone behind them, and we don't connect. And you do that early, and you're gonna you have an opportunity to not only to build confidence and create the explosive plays, and don't let them do what they want to do on defense. And now you got them on their heels. And again, those are opportunities. How many opportunities do you want? How many do you want till you get it right? And so we gotta get it right, and that's our responsibility as coaches. And but we had some of those opportunities, particularly again on the first drive of the game.
Let me jump in and take a break. Teddy, you get first question out of the break with Brent Venables here at Rudy's. Stay with us. Back after this.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Norman Hyundai, your premier Hyundai dealership for new and used cars. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. New episodes drop every day. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. Presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino. Orthodontics Exclusively is a proud sponsor of the Junior Captain of the Game. Junior Captain is the ultimate fan experience for children 6 to 12.
Sooner Sports Talk here at Rudy's, getting set for OU South Carolina, 11:45 a.m. on Saturday. This segment brought to you by the Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Partner, you got it. What you got?
All right, one of the bright spots, Eli Bowen was great. Got the start.
Yeah.
Freshman corner, was making plays all over the place.
Yeah, he did a great job as positioning and coverage again. Again, he never panics. Understands the calls. I was challenging some other freshmen. You know, sometimes the coach want to protect the young player and say, well, he's young, he doesn't, you know, and we can't put limitations on. We're not in a position to put limitations on anybody. And my thing is, well, when we put Eli out there, we don't say, well, he can't do this scheme or this scheme or this scheme. He knows all of it. And that's our job, to teach it, and it's their job to know it and study it, take good notes, spend time away from, you know, the meeting rooms and the practice field on your own. That's what a committed player will do. You know, do your part. And so, you know, he's been rewarded, you know, with more and more playing time, and, you know, he's producing at a high level because he's prepared. And, you know, everybody needs to take their opportunity, you know, the same, you know, treat it the same, and really value it. But again, a message to everybody else was just, you know, really promoting the level of success. He's really playing at a really high level, confident level. And, you know, a lot of times for those young skill guys, one thing that they usually don't have right away is the physicality, whether it's a receiver to be able to get off a tight coverage, or maybe a receiver in the blocking, the perimeter blocking schemes. And on the flip side for DBs, you know, they might be able to cover, but you got to keep them away from, you know, the tackle box. And that couldn't be further from the truth. He had a couple of really nice crack replaces, and then out in space when they dumped it down, when he's playing a concept high to low, taking away the deep route, and then he has the low end of anything to the flat and really triggering at the right time. So tackling, the number one, you know, most important attribute to be a good tackler is you have to chew up space. How fast can you chew up space, maintaining leverage on the football, knowing where your help is? And man, he's had 5, 6, 7 plays that were just absolute clinics, you know, to teach from, you know, moving forward.
All right, we always take a question from our viewers and listeners every week, brought to you by Rudy's Barbecue, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Several questions came in tonight in regards to the idea of, would it benefit to have a coach dedicated to the quarterback position, a quarterback's coach who played that position. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, want somebody that can be a great teacher, the fundamentals of it, the scheme part of it, the decision-making part, the development piece. You know, on our staff, we've got, you know, Coach Luttrell that's, you know, he's coached quarterbacks, you know, for a long time. And a lot of the best coaches, they coach several positions on both sides of the ball. And that helps them be a better teacher at what they're doing. And he's had high-level success, you know, coaching quarterbacks. And then we've got, you know, Jack Lowry and Kevin Johns, too, both guys that are quarterback guys. You know, Jack has been at Tennessee, and he was also at Missouri with Coach Heupel there. And then Kevin Johns been at lots of places. You know, he was most recently the offensive coordinator at Duke, and he coached the quarterback there that's at Notre Dame now, and amongst many others as well. He's at Indiana and Texas Tech and several other places. Really good coach. So we got a small army, you know, of those kind of coaches. And then, hey, if you have somebody that's also a coordinator that coaches those quarterbacks, you know, that can be a great thing too.
Well, it's a tough one. Result, obviously not what anyone wanted, but what do you think's the most important thing for this football team to get past it, move forward? Because you got another tough one coming up, and they're all going to be difficult.
Yeah, well, again, it's a long list, but man, you got to keep the main thing. And and we talked about this prior to the game, you know, regardless of the outcome, you know, Monday's coming, and we're going to have to, flush the game, and you learn from it, both the good and the bad, and then you got to move forward. And yesterday's a dead yesterday, and you got to move forward and attack the next opportunity. And we have an opportunity. We can win every game that's in front of us. I deeply believe that, and it doesn't matter what I believe. We got to make sure our players believe, and that's our response: get them to buy in and believe, be able to knock, make sure that there's no negativity. You got to be able to no distractions, and you be able to lock in what's in front of you. And you got to be a great teammate, and you got to have courage. Courage to, failing is okay, but being a failure isn't, right? And so what that means is, if you're looking for excuses, you got 6,000 of them. Everybody will make excuses. I told the defense. People will say, well, defense, you're out there too much, or you did your part. Man, that's bull crap. That is not it. Nobody on offense is going to fit the A gap. Nobody on offense is coming off the edge. Nobody on offense has got to play the post. Nobody on offense, has got to, spill the fullback. And so we got to take care of our controllables and things that weren't in control of. And don't buy that lie either. And, if it's one of us, it's all of us. And we're going to be a good team. It's going to be because of everybody doing their part and doing, and again, it's not always equal. Every team's a little bit different. And the strength of this team is our defense and, our special teams. And so we need to play to that potential. That's my expectation. And but at the end of the day, we've got to have courage. True courage is giving it all you got, regardless of the outcome. You put everything you got into it, and then that'll be this week right here. True courage is putting everything you got. Don't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got part of you that's in, and part of you that's not. Part of you is in the moment, and part of you it's in the past. Man, you're half dead. That's how I look at it. And it takes everything, and it takes everyone. But that's what true courage is being able to have awareness, and then take action, and then have accountability. And that starts with me. My job is, but we all have to have awareness, and especially the players and the coaches, to look at, okay, having awareness, what's the issue, and then taking the appropriate action, and then having accountability after that. But if the player doesn't take responsibility, then you're going to be spinning your wheels in the mud. And so it's everybody that has a part in that. And then again, you learn through victory a little bit, but the real teacher is through the adversity and the failure. And I know our guys. I feel great. Our leaders on our team are fantastic, and our young guys, man, they're hungry. And so I know our guys will respond.
Well, the Sooners have never played South Carolina, but you're very familiar with the Gamecocks. We'll talk to Coach about the showdown coming up Saturday on Owen Field when we come back. Stay with us.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. OU's 2024 football games are available on Exodus 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show. Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers. See your Oklahoma Buick GMC dealer.
All right, our last segment with Coach Venables brought to you by Pike Pass. Make it home safe, Oklahoma. 11:45 Saturday, the Sooners and the South Carolina Gamecocks. It's a whiteout. Make sure you spread the word. Everybody wear white on Saturday. OU's never played South Carolina ever in 130 years of football, but we will Saturday. However, you're very familiar from your Clemson days with these guys. Yeah,
they're an athletic football team. They've recruited really well. Their staff has. They've got, I think this is right. They've got 38 seniors on their team, which is a lot. They're a veteran team, guys that have played a lot of football. They're young in some spots, kind of like us at quarterback and some of the receiver spots. But they're incredibly talented. They're they've got a offense. Sean Elliott is their offensive line coach, and he was there for a couple of different staffs, Coach Spurrier and Coach Muschamp as well. And then he was the head coach at Georgia State. Did a great job there, and came back to South Carolina on his own. And he's a tough guy, and so he's got a good edge to him, and the players always feed off of him. Have a chance to watch him on defense as well, and their defense, my opinion, is this is the best collection of talent, top to bottom, that they've had on defense. Whether I hit that mark or not, that's just kind of a 10,000-foot view of them, and the way they're playing up front. Their front seven, and they've got length and speed in the back end as well. They're multiple, super aggressive. They're fun to watch, and what a transformation has taken place over the last several years there. But good talent and good development. And then the kicking game is going to be aggressive and multiple, and lots of Coach Beamer. Old Beamer ball. His dad being at Virginia Tech, and you and I are about the same age, and we grew up seemed like Virginia Tech played every Thursday night.
That's right.
And I could not wait to watch them.
They blocked the kick every week too.
And Bud Foster, he was just an idol of mine. I was just like, man, what it would be like to be that guy. And it was just so good, and the defenses were so good, and they forced turnovers in their kicking game. Always were going to block a kick or return one for a touchdown. And then you had Michael Vicks of the world that, they have explosive players that, I just grew up, and, Beamer was one of those legends before he was a real legend. Now he's a Hall of Famer, and so Shane comes from great lineage and great coach's kid, and been around the game for such a long time. Great human being and a really good coach, and he's got a real positive mindset to him. The glass is always half full, and that's a great way to live. And doesn't mean he has his head in the sand. It just means he chooses to look at the bright side of it, the right side of it, and bring out the best in people. But he's done a really good job. He knows, he understands better than anybody. The SEC is an incredible challenge. Every week, you can't lose a turnover margin and win in the SEC, no matter who you're playing. So they've been on the wrong side of that. They had a tough game in their opener against ODU, and then they beat a couple other people. They beat Akron, can't remember who else, but then they got after Kentucky at Kentucky, and Kentucky feels like this is a really good team for them. Kentucky beat Ole Miss already, and Kentucky took Georgia. They should have won that game. I think they lost 13-12 or 14-13. Kentucky did. And they got after Kentucky, 31-6 at one point in time, and that was on the road. And Coach Beamer's teams the last couple of years, they haven't actually played very well on the road, but they did there. And then they go to they didn't play great against Ole Miss. Ole Miss got a really good team, we know that, and they had some opportunities early and just couldn't capitalize. And then they went against Alabama and took them all the way down to the wire. And it was what a heck of a game, and played on the road in front of 100,000 people there, and had a chance to win the game. They created explosive plays. They got after Alabama. They stopped them, and that was goes to overtime. What a game that was. So they'll have some real confidence, on the type of team. And I said at the beginning of the year, I don't know if you remember or not, but I said that is one of the most undervalued teams in the SEC, based on what I've studied on tape, or what they've recruited, what they got in the portal, and they recruited out of high school. If they got to have some things go their way, and if they're on the right side of it in the turnover margin, they're even better. And so going to be a great challenge for our guys.
You mentioned all the talent they have on defense. One of the best pass rushes in the country. I think they lead the SEC right now. The two edge guys that they've got, but they're really good all across the front. What's going to be important offensively to slow those guys down? Yeah, just not allowing disruption and free runners, and they're going to be multiple. They're going to try to outnumber you. They're going to try to affect your protection, and so we're going to have to do a good job. Do a good job. So it sounds easy, right? Yeah, just do a good job. But we're going to have to give them help when they need it, and so we'll find different ways to do that, and change up some of the protections and things, and not make things easy and predictable for them. And got to make good decisions and have clear pictures and things of that nature.
11:45 Saturday. It's a whiteout. Don't forget that, Coach. We're rooting for you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here tonight.
Yeah,
We
appreciate it. Thank you.
Brent Venables,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
We're going to say goodbye to him, but Teddy and I have one more segment next. Stay with us here at Rudy's.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
There you see it, 11:45 on Saturday. That's a weird start time, but it's an SEC network game, and that's what they do in the SEC. So we're going to kick off for about 11:45 on Saturday morning. We did find out a game time today, by the way, for the Ole Miss game. We had a window. Now we know specifically it will be an 11 a.m. kickoff a week from Saturday down in Oxford. This final segment brought to you by your Oklahoma Buick GMC dealers. What did Coach have to say tonight that jumped out to you, Ted?
I think one of the things is he says there's stuff there on offense, whether it's the running game, there's stuff blocked up, decision-making at quarterback, give the football, keep it in the passing game. There's stuff there, get the ball out of your hands. So if you're looking for optimism, there's plays to be made. We have to execute better.
Yeah, that's encouraging. And I guess the headline tonight is they're sticking with Michael Hawkins, it sounds like, this week at quarterback. Okay, we wrap up every show with a bold prediction. What is yours for the South Carolina game?
Well, I was going to say, Elzinga has a 60-yard punt, but I think that's not very bold. That's a given. No. I'll say the defense forces 3 turnovers.
Okay.
South Carolina's had some turnover issues. It's led to a lot of their games where they haven't looked very good. They're going to be on the road. It should be. I expect it to be a really good environment. And, our defense needs to force turnover. I mean, let's face it, the offense, whatever help we can give them is going to be beneficial. And I think we can get 3 of them.
I said it in the first show. It feels like on paper a good old SEC defensive slobber knocker type game. Their defense is good. Oklahoma's defense is good. Their offense struggles at times. Oklahoma's obviously does as well. So 3 turnovers would be huge. Could be the deciding factor.
Well,
in this game.
In those type of games, it always comes down to just a handful of things, and often it's a special teams play, a missed field goal, a shanked punt, something like that. So, I like those games, but man, they're nail biters.
Yep. Radio coverage starts at 8:30 on Saturday morning. We'll see you here next week. Boomer Sooner, everybody.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.